Good evening and welcome. It's 7 o'clock in the evening here at Site B. It is the 15th day of November 2022. It is about 68 degrees and clear, and the Christmas lights are shining at Site B. And it is the first of many 900 Can We Get to 1,000 Subathons. As promised, I said I was going to do it. Ask the OG GM anything from 7 to at least 8 p.m. or till I get bored if no one shows up, which I don't actually expect anybody to show up. But in case they do, here I am talking about my beloved and most hated thing, role playing. So ask the OG GM anything. Go ahead, ask me. I'm sure the number one question you're asking is, where's the cat? And I don't actually know where the cat is. I figured he would have shown up by now, but he'll show up eventually. Okay, so hi, person I've never met before, Hungar the Starvarian. I don't know who you are, Hungar, but I know you're a friend of DM James, so you're cool in my book. Hi, how you doing? All right, so ask me anything. I assure him the first question in everybody's mind after is where is Steve is what does OG GM mean, dude? You've been calling yourself this for like 7 years now. What does it mean? For those of you who haven't figured it out, OG means original gangster or original gamer. It is a fact that I have been doing this hobby forever. Oh, DM James is your brother. I thought he was just your friend. Well, DM James is awesome, and you're awesome. I've watched a couple of your painting things and talking about stuff. So, yeah. And hey, it's Cal. Cal's been around forever. Thanks for following me all this time, Cal. So yes, the OG stands for original gamer, original gangster, or just original guy or old guy. And the GM means game master because I refer to myself as a game master, not a dungeon master, because I run more than just one game and I play more than just one game. And I have attempted to become a expert at those games. Am I a master? I don't know what that even means, but yes. I guess no, probably not. According to Gygax, I am, because if we go by Gygax's list of what Gygax thought was elite, I know this is going to go against what a certain individual thing says, but Gary Gygax said in his autobiography and in his guide on gaming that he felt the most elite gamer, the most elite game master, the person he respected the most was somebody who wrote, played, ran multiple different systems, including running at game stores and conventions. And since I'm that, I guess I can call myself a game master. So if you've ever wondered what OG GM means, it means old guy or original gangster or original gamer, GM, game master, or get a job, Mike. All right. Question number 2. What's my real name? Because it's probably not OG GM. Well, it's Michael. It's Michael L. Strauss. You can look me up on the internet if you want. I am a published poet, an award-winning poet. I am a published working screenwriter. I am a former educator who has spent the last 10 years working with special needs children here in and around Site B. So that is who I am, though probably shouldn't tell you that because now you can hunt me down. Of course, I think everybody actually knows what my real name is. All right, what is Site B? What is Site B? I know James asked this, and some other people have asked such Site B. This is Site B. This is where I live now. Now, yes, if you haven't figured it out by now, between that and saying I am in Costa Rica, a small island off the coast of Costa Rica, Site B and a small island off the coast of Costa Rica is, of course, a reference to Jurassic Park. So if anybody out there has not figured out by now when I say I am broadcasting from Site B on a small island off the coast of Costa Rica, it is, of course, referencing Jurassic Park. And why do I do that? Well, it's because in the very first, when I originally started doing this 7-10 years ago, when Matt Broman originally suggested the idea for me, I said I was broadcasting from a secret dinosaur island. Of course, because of my love of Isle of Dread, Cult, Tomb of Annihilation, and it's Caucasian Sasquatch. Greetings and salutations, Caucasian Sasquatch, and welcome to the Ask the OG GM anything. 3 more people than I thought. So yeah, when I first started this YouTube experiment, suggested to me by Matthew Broman, I said I was broadcasting from Dinosaur Island. So that was because A, Jurassic Park, B, I love dinosaurs, and C, because of my love of Isle of Dread, Tomb of Annihilation, and Dinosaur Pirate Island. So Site A was the place I was originally doing the YouTube from. And then when I moved here to the new place, this became Site B. And when I move again in the future, which hopefully will be soon, that will be Site C. Again, referencing Jurassic Park, Resident Evil, and just generally my evil machinations to take over the world. So I think those are the most questions that people usually ask. Why is Steve the cat called Steve the cat? That is a very unusual name for a cat. Well, you have to understand the running joke that I call everybody Steve. This is from, up until recently, because I've worked in education for the past 10 years. I cannot remember the kids' names. And I have, God love each and every kid I've ever worked with, but some of them had some really unusual names. Like 5 years ago, I had a kid in my class named Gandalf. I assume his parents liked Lord of the Rings. But yeah, can you just imagine that kid going through life being called Gandalf? I mean, just high school, first day, sits down, teacher takes roll. Simmons, Steve, Sasquatch, Caucasian, Bellingham, Gandalf. That kid's going to get beaten up. I had a kid named Moist. I had a kid named Sand. Literally, Sand. So I had so many kids constantly changing. After a while, I was just like, dude, I can't remember your name. You're Steve. And if everybody asked me what my name was, I was like, dude, I don't know. Just call me Steve. So that became a running joke. And when my niece started talking and got to about 4 years old, which is about the age when you can start messing around with a small kid, I would just tell her, you know what? Everything is Steve. What's the dog's name? Steve. What's that food's name? Steve. What's the cat's name? Steve. What's your name? Steve. So this joke between my niece and I carried. So when my mom got me the kitten the day before my 56th birthday, the very first thing I said was I was going to call my niece and ask her to come up with the name. So I called my niece and I said, hey, there's somebody here who wants to meet her. I showed her the kitten. I said, what is the kitten's name? And she went, Steve, because she knew that I called everything Steve. So if you wonder why the black cat is called Steve the Minecraft cat, that's why. It's because my niece picked Steve or Stevie because, yeah. And it responds to Stevie or Steve when it responds at all, because apparently cats respond to anything that is a short 1 or 2 syllable word that ends in an IE or Y sound. That's why so many cats are named Fluffy and Kitty. And that's why even a strange cat will at least look at you if you go Kitty, because cats respond to YE or IE. So go ahead, ask me anything. And if you want to join up, here's the invite. I don't know why you'd want to join up, but just in case nobody came up with questions to ask me, I found some online. So we're going to do these things. But first, because tonight is a special celebration of 900 subs, I'm going to show you guys something that hardly ever gets to see the light of day, because there's only like 4 copies left on the entire earth. The role-playing game I published. That is right. Here it is. I published a role-playing game. I printed it out and I sold 15 copies. Here it is. What? And when I wrote this right out of college, I thought I knew everything about gaming. I thought, oh my God, I'm just, yeah. No, I didn't know a goddamn thing. And you can just oh my God, just, it is such a self-congratulatory list of just nonsense that I tried to create. It's a disaster. This is a disaster. But the skill system I wrote for this game was apparently so well received that another game designer copied it, broke it down, rebuilt it, and used it for another system you may have heard of called the Silhouette system, or the Heavy Gear role-playing game. And this is the game that got me in the doorstep to start playtesting for GURPS and for Artisolian. And the work I did on this and the work I did with Artisolian led to me working on Fusion, which also sort of led to some other things. So yes, I am a published working game designer. I haven't designed anything in a long time because I didn't feel there was a need. It's like every time I came up with an idea, I was like, oh, what? There's my idea. I'm like, I should really start writing these ideas down before somebody, oh, look, there's another. So, until recently, I just like, everything's been done. But Miguel and the guys over at Red Room and Sylvia inspired me to start writing again. So are you a real person? No, I am not. This is a VTuber AI generated image. I am actually a sandwich or an idiot if you listen to J. Scott Garrity. So no, I'm not a real person. I'm a sandwich. All right. So yes, Sylvia and Miguel over the Red Room, though I don't always agree with their politics, inspired me to writing again. And I did. And you can see that product, shameless self plug, on Big Geek Emporium. Now, I would have put it on one of the others, but I believed in everything that Joe was doing with Big Geek Emporium. So I promised that I would not do anything with any other company till the end of the year. Cal was the editor for a project that I worked on. Actually, one of the very first ones I worked on. It is still sitting on my desk. Thank you, Cal, for editing it. I wanted to get my name out there first with the small stuff, with the fistful of minion stuff that I've been doing on Big Geek before I release the big thing. So don't worry, Cal, you will get your credit and you do have a copy. But what kind of sandwich? Well, see, I don't want to say what kind of sandwich because that would be discriminatory to other sandwiches, right? If I say I'm a peanut butter and jelly, then all the turkey sandwiches out there are going to go, oh, the peanut butter and jelly is getting all the attention. What about us turkey sandwiches? That's sandwichism. So, yeah, no, I'm not going to tell you what kind of sandwich I am. Or even if I'm really a sandwich, maybe I'm not, because I don't want to be accused of being racist. All right. Have you guys ever done any of these D&D challenges? I've got two of them. The first is the infamous, he's an egg manwich. Meat popsicle sandwich. Yes, there's a reference to Fifth Element. I am a meat popsicle, sir. All right, here is the D&D tag that our beloved Jeannie D did with Mark Holmes, two people who I respect greatly in the gaming industry. So if you've never taken the D&D tag, you can find it on a Google Doc under D&D tag. If you've ever, need one of those, I need something to fill space on my D&D, my gaming vlog. So yeah, I'm going to take it and you guys can follow along if you want or not until somebody asks me a question other than what kind of sandwich are you? What was your first D&D character? A fighter. Wasn't that everybody's first D&D character back in 1976 or 74 when I first started playing this game? Now, the first D&D character that actually got any extended play that I consider my real first character was the character I played in TJ Storm's 15-year-long Company of the Bull campaign. But the first one I ever made was a first-level fighter named Sam. Probably hindsight being 2020, I should have named him Steve. Oh my God, it's DM James. Oh, I love DM James. Love you, James. So much respect for James, especially whenever he delves into the madness that is J. Scott Garrity, because James has way much more patience than I ever will for that idiot. So my first D&D character was a human fighter. Which D&D class is your least favorite to play or you do not want to play? I don't know if I have a least favorite, and also which version of D&D are we talking about? Because there's 110 now. I don't like barbarians because I don't think barbarian should be a class. Barbarian is a culture. The idea of a raging, battle monster, that could be anything. Barbarian should be a background. Is there any class I don't want to play? No, there's classes I prefer, but no, if anybody says, hey, we need somebody to play X class, and do you want to do it? James is drunk and he's not sharing. I made a whole group of human adventurers because I was the only player with a friend being DM. I'm sure we've all done that at one point in time or another. Usually I ran 2 in those situations. What D&D spell would you most want to have in real life? Telekinesis. It's the most useful superpower there is. What's your favorite D&D monster? Gelatinous cube. What is your favorite NPC villain that you've encountered created? That I've encountered? Lady Janeth from the Legacy of Fire Pathfinder Adventure Path is probably the all-time my most favorite villain, because I have never hated an NPC as much as I ended up hating Lady Janeth. And I've run into Strahd like everybody else. So yeah, Lady Janeth from Path of Fire or Legacy of Fire Adventure Path that Matt Broman ran. I hated her when she eventually betrayed us. And it was a year. Matt strung it out for a year before the adventurers. And out of all the monsters, you picked the cube. I love slime. Haven't you guys heard this by now? I love slime. I love all the slime. But gelatinous cube has sort of got a special place in my heart because of all the slime. It's kind of the most cute and sort of pathetic. It's like, dude, you're a slow-moving cube. Only an adventurer would be dumb enough to reach their hand into you to attempt to grab that sword. Anybody else with even a modicum of intelligence would go, I'm just going to outrun you because your movement's like 8 and I don't really need that sword. So, yes, Lady Janeth from Path of Fire, Legacy of Fire, Adventure Path, Paizo, Pathfinder. My most favorite NPC villain, because the only NPC villain I have ever truly hated. I was so mad. What is my favorite villain that I've ever created? Well, I don't know if I created him. I sort of copied him. But Kevna/Vecna, when I had Vecna be the bad guy in one of my campaigns towards the tail end of the Freeport campaign, 8-year-long Freeport campaign, which I'm talking about, was just because I was able to do the same thing to my players and totally... Hey, do you guys want hot girls for you? How do I ban somebody from this? Yay, we got our first, what do you call it? Spam bot. The Borg cube is all powerful. Suppose that brings up the question, who wins? Cybermen versus the Borg. I mean, they're the same thing, right? Resistance is futile. You will be converted. Have you ever had a character ever died? Yes, all the time. What killed them? Make me a mod. I don't know how. I can invite you, Cal, but I don't know how to make you a mod. I need some hot girls. Send me that link. Okay, if you just go to pornhub.com. That's how you know you hit the big time, OG, when you get spam bots. Yes. Probably just Scott trying to look for attention. What has killed my Pete? Every single solitary player character of mine that has died because I'm stupid. What's your best natural 20 story? My best natural 20 story? I don't know if I have one. Probably the time Charles jumped on the table. I don't know if I've told you guys this story before. I think I have. They're playing a game. Yes, you're spelling it right. I don't know if I can say this on live stream, but it's Pornhub. Oops. Support me, Pornhub. I will sell out, and I do know a porn star. Okay, so Charles jumping on the table is probably my best natural 20 story. It's not my story. It's somebody else's story. We're playing a game. It's really intense. Everybody on the table is just really, really intense and in tune. And this DM has got us all just highly strung. And this guy, Charles, is just rolling one after one after one. And he's just like, the DM's just like, dude, we're all cheering him on. We're all cheering him on. Like, come on, Charles, come on. And he gets into that hero moment. And he's had this string of natural ones were just like his character's got like 2 hit points left. So many things has gone wrong. He was almost in tears, and it was like, this, if ever there was a moment for there to be a natural 20, it was this moment. And he rolls the dice. This is the the heroic moment, stuff like that. So bringing down the sword, everybody thinks he's going to roll another one. 20. Charles somehow defies gravity, leaps up, comes down on the table screaming, "Natural 20, bitch!" Everything on the table goes flying. Hot coffee, soda, dice. Oh, it was just an amazing natural 20 moment. Yeah, so that is probably mine. I'll smarten up. Who is that porn star you know? Her name is Kiki Dare. What is your favorite non-D20 RPG game? Obviously, 20 millimeter RPG has not been watching my YouTube enough to know what my all-time favorite non-D20 RPG game is. Everybody else should know because I talk about it at least once, if not more, than once a month. My favorite all-time tabletop role-playing game is Marvel favriote Superheroes. If push comes to shove, even though I say, my desert island role-playing game is either D6 West End Games or Call of Cthulhu, my favorite all-time tabletop role-playing game is Marvel favriote Superheroes. And you guys have heard me talk about it 100 times why, and my reason is really weird and sort of very personal to me. But of every tabletop role-playing game, superhero role-playing game I have played, and I have played a lot, it is, in my mind, the only one that ever truly captured the feel of comic books at that period of time, simply because instead of using numbers, it used words. And if you know Marvel Comics, especially during the late 80s, early 90s, Excelsior, bam, piff, pow, Herculean, Hulk-like. These were all words you would hear to describe the actions of the characters in the comic. And in Marvel superhero role-playing game, you didn't have an 18 strength or a 22 charisma or an energy blast of 30. You had excellent, Hulk-like, Herculean, Inhuman, which for me made it feel more superhero, that I was lifting up the car with my Hulk-like strength. Plus, I didn't have to worry about numbers. I just knew I had an excellent endurance. And my dyslexia was very bad and is still bad, but, so math has always been a very bad part of me. So I never knew the numbers for Marvel. I just knew the words, and the DM was good enough to just run with it. So he knew that my excellent meant 35% or whatever. I didn't need to know the numbers. All I needed to know was the words and then roll percentile, and he could tell me the rest. So that is probably why it is my all-time favorite tabletop role-playing game. What is your best natural one story? Well, I don't know if it's a natural one story. Yeah, it is a natural one story. It's Roger and the Fireball. Has anybody not heard me tell the Roger and the Fireball? Is it possible for Gelatinous Cube to infiltrate the modern army? Well, it's cube shape, I suppose. If we, you'd have to find a pair of arms that wouldn't dissolve. So it'd have to be made out of something that the gelatinous cube can't dissolve. And like a pair of googly eyes that also it wouldn't dissolve. And if you put the pair of googly eyes right on one side of the gelatinous cube and the arms on the other two sides, it could probably pass for a Mordon. I don't know what the requirements for joining the Mordon army is, other than you have to be a geometric shape, square, circle, triangle, whatever. So it's already got a square, but Mordorns have arms and eyes. So the gelatinous cube would have a little problem there. But again, if you could find a pair of googly eyes that it couldn't dissolve, made out of a substance, it can't dissolve glass, right? And iron. That's why it's always the picture of the person reaching in, grabbing the sword. So you get two copper pieces and you paint two black dots on them and you glue them to the front of the gelatinous cube. There's its eyes. And for its arms, you just get two femurs, the arms of a skeleton, and you stick them to each side of the gelatinous cube. And sure, It could pass. In fact, now I think I have to throw that in a Munster thing. What were we talking about? I can't think of anything more important than talking about how a gelatinous cube is going to infiltrate the modern army. So I think we're done for the night. Support me, water. I will sell out. Is there anybody here who has not heard Roger and the Fireball? We'll get back to it just in case, because I know it takes a few minutes to people. But that is the best natural one story ever, right? What is the highest level you've ever played a character to? Legitimately, 11. What's your favorite magic item? Rod of Lordly Might or the Alchemical Judge. If you had an IRL alignment, what would it be? Neutral evil. If you had to date one of your characters, which one would you pick? I wouldn't, because they're not real. This is how you know there's something wrong with Jeannie D, that she asked that question, and people are like, oh yeah, I would totally date my tiefling bard. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't. They're not real. Date a real person. Is there a character you want to play but haven't had a chance to play yet? I don't get to play in enough superhero role-playing games. Are you a dice goblin or dice minimalist? Dice minimalist. What rule or mechanic have you never quite wrapped your brain around? I don't know. I'm sure there is one, but I can't think of one. I always get like confused over stuff in 5e or any game, but then I'm just like, whatever. All right. I haven't heard any answers about whether you've heard Roger the Fireball, the story or not. So I'm going to assume you're not. We have another question. And we also found a D&D quiz online. So if you guys want homework, and if anybody wants to jump in, here's the invite again. Okay. Want to hang out with me? I don't know. And Steve, if he ever shows up. Wizard or sorcerer? I have wizards. I love wizards. Sorcerer is close. Like, on paper, sorcerer feels awesome, but when you actually play one, it's like, I'd rather just be a wizard. I don't know. The iconic sorcerer is the wild mage sorcerer, but the wild mage sorcerer only gets its wild mage surge on a natural 1, which sort of feels like, well, the only reason I'm really playing this is to hopefully get that surge. But why has it got to be a natural 1? Shouldn't it be like increase or decrease? Like at first level, maybe it's like 1-5. It happens a lot because you're first level and you just don't know what you're doing with this power. So like the wild surges should be way more frequent at low level, and as you go up in levels and learn to control the wild magic, the number should decrease, because now you've mastered the chaos magic. So that's probably how I'd do it. I would either do it that it's like up. Speak of the devil, and it shall appear. Come here, your fans want to see you. Hi, buddy. You're gonna make you famous. All right, here he is, the real reason y'all turned in. There he is. There you go, Steve the Minecraft cat. Yay! And my other cat might show up. Poor thing. Yeah, she's maybe thinking of making an appearance. If you haven't seen the other cat ever, she's right there. Molly is 12 years old, and she has a thyroid condition. So she's basically on death's door and has been for like a year, but she's too stubborn to die. Okay, so I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, well, who cares? Oh, somebody's here. I don't know who you are, but hello, Smash, and welcome. Can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're the first victim. See, do you have any questions you want to ask the OG GM, or do you have any questions I want to ask you?
I don't know. I didn't really think this far through.
You just wanted to join.
Yep.
Well, welcome. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? How have you gotten to this strange hobby? Why are you watching me?
I'm smashed. I've been subscribed since, I don't know, I think you were below below 100, definitely.
Oh,
Um,
dude, thank you so much for being part of this for so long.
been following you for that long. I don't know. I got into the hobby in high school and have now and now, I'm in my mid 20s and having a good time.
Cool. So what's your drink? What's your game of choice?
Game of choice. So I play lots of things. Modifius 2D20 is a good one.
Oh, here she is.
Working on my own system. Planning on starting a Shadowrun campaign here pretty soon. Planning on starting a GURPS campaign here pretty soon. So,
feel free to post your link here so people can go to your site. I know I'm subscribed. I'm very bad at posting on other people's sites. I should really do that more since so many people have graciously joined me. So, but yeah, if you've got a link that you want to share, please feel free to throw it up there, dude.
nah, I'm good. I have a YouTube, but I never post anything on it.
Oh,
so.
okay. You're one of those. What do they call those puppet accounts? You're not a real YouTuber because you don't post anything.
I mean, I think I've posted one video in the last year.
Not it's not for everybody. I mean, face it, I'm just doing it to make money. So, and show my cats. No, I'm not feeding you. I just fed you. Leave me alone. The cat wants food because I mentioned its name. So how did you get started playing? I mean, what was your moment?
So when I was very little, I was watching some TV. I don't know. It was just like basic cable. And there was so I was born in '98. So like very little is well after the hobby had already been started. There was a documentary about a dude who got so into Vampire the Masquerade he killed somebody. That was on when I was like 5. And I watched it. I remember it. So that freaked me out, but like intrigued me. And then I got into my high school D&D club. I got bullied out of my high school D&D club.
That's unusual, but
then I started my own group with my friends in high school, and then went to college and ran some games, played in some games, and yeah. When I graduated, since I graduated, I haven't really been in any long running campaigns, but I've been around. Yep, I went to University of Kentucky. Now I live in Florida. I was originally from Northern Virginia, though.
98, good year. Remember it well. 98. What was I doing in 98? I was working at Dave's Video, the laser place in Studio City. That's probably what I was doing in 98. And hanging out with famous people and semi-famous people. And you were just a youngin', corrupted into the hobby by a documentary about a crazy Vampire the Masquerade player. See, it's not just us D&D players that go crazy. It's all the hobby. We're all doomed.
I think the Mind's Eye Theater people are a little crazier than even the craziest D&D people.
Oh, yeah, the LARPers?
Yeah.
I met some LARPers. Some were perfectly fine. Others were definitely out there. Yeah, I think, I went to a Ren Fair like everybody else, did the SCA. I think I saw somebody get raped at the SCA. That was pretty much it for LARPing for me. Harlan County, Kentucky, now in Orlando. Oh, GM James is telling us where he is. Now in Orlando. How come you don't go
there? Actually, I was in Fayette County, Kentucky.
James, take us with you to Disneyland. You're in Orlando?
Yeah, I mean, I am directly next to Disneyland. Like my apartment complex borders Disneyland.
Disney World? Awesome.
Disney World, yeah.
Cool.
I get those two
So you were hit
mixed
by
up.
the typhoon, hurricane, whatever it was, a couple
I
weeks.
was hit by both hurricanes that just have happened. Not didn't even lose power. There was a little flooding, but I live on the second story, so that doesn't affect me. A couple
Cool.
days off work because work was closed.
Images. Oh, so you want Smash to show images of Disneyland out his window? I don't know if it's up
Well,
for.
I'm currently pointing towards it. I think you
There he
might
is.
have just seen a firework flash there, if you can even see it, because real dark outside.
As for my images, all I can show is dying cat. Here she is, poor baby. Here, I just made you famous. What's your favorite? Since I'll make you take the challenge, since nobody else is brave enough to join. What's your favorite player character race? Mine's halflings.
Starfinder's Skittermanders.
Oh yeah, Starfinder's such a great game.
The Lilo and Stitch like aliens.
626, yeah. The little four-arm blue thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Anybody else want to jump in here and ask me questions? If not, I'll just move on with this silly questionnaire. Don't worry. I will tell the Roger and the Fireball story before we end this at 8, unless somebody else wants to join on. For anybody who's never... Hello. Oh, look at me. Pay attention to me. My favorite PC class. I like quirky skill monkeys, so probably Rogue. Favorite game world. The world of Tales from the Loop really has captured my imagination, so that might be my current one. Favorite dice or dice? Six-siders. Favorite deity? I've got two. Lyra, goddess of deception and delusion from Forgotten Realms, because she faked her death twice. And I always thought that was pretty awesome, that the goddess of... he's asking if you live at Images. Is the apartment complex where the Disney slaves reside. Are you a Disney slave?
No, I am not a Disney slave, and I do not live on Disney property. I live directly adjacent to Disney property.
Cool. You know, you should do Disney World vlogs. Apparently, that's a big thing on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't have season passes because since I moved here, the only season passes that have been available are the weekday passes. And that's...
You, like normal people, work during the weekday, huh?
Yep.
Understandable. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Favorite deity. My favorite deity, Lyra, goddess of deception and illusion from the Forgotten Realms, because she faked her death twice, which is perfect for a goddess of deception and illusion. And there's still some question, even in current Forgotten Realms lore, whether she actually is still around or not, because there's another goddess who has almost the exact same name, but it's spelled differently. And the worshippers of Lyra still want to perpetuate the illusion that she's still around. So is she? And my other favorite deity is Caden Kalian from Pathfinder. Caden Kalian, if you're not familiar with Pathfinder deities, was a normal dude who on a drunken bet walked into a temple and came out a god. But he doesn't remember how he became a god because he was drunk at the time. So he still goes around doing his everyday, normal, drunken adventuring stuff, constantly forgetting that he's a god. So I thought that was pretty cool that, you know, just sort of became a god on a drunken bet. James, you want to jump in here? Or are you too drunk? You can talk about your favorite person. My favorite edition. All of them. I don't play favorites. I even like fourth. We could get into a whole thing about fourth. That would be like a whole separate topic. What about you there? I don't want to feel like you're, you know, just being ignored there, sir. Tell us about your favorite game edition, and do you have a gaming story you want to share? You know, that That
Um,
perfect natural 20 moment.
mm, I don't really have any good gaming stories. I also don't I tend to avoid Dungeons and Dragons, so
Ah, okay.
that
How'd
question
you get
doesn't really.
how did you get bullied out by a group of other geeks?
Um, so I was in high school. I was a high school boy. Um, Still coming to terms with my sexuality,
Uh-oh.
as high school boys are. And the D&D club had a lot of overlap with the Gay Straight Alliance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so um, I wasn't really comfortable with a lot of gay men coming on to me, and that led to, well, if you don't like us, then that means you're homophobic, and that spiraled. So
Oh, there he is. James and I have been trying to get on a thing for ages now, but we always seem to not cross check. But we're sharing Minecraft together, so it's kind of the same.
Right.
What's up,
And
James?
hey, what's up, guys? And Smashed, I wasn't trying to dox you, but I know I live in Orlando, so what's up? You probably hang out at the Cosima Comics sometimes, even.
yes, I do.
Hey, you guys
I
should hang
go
out
I go
together.
to Coliseum Comics Kissimmee. Where do you go?
I go to Kissimmee when I get there, but I actually live South Orlando, so it's a good 40-minute drive for me now.
You guys should game together. Look at that. I made a game.
I'm not
You made a,
currently running a game, but
you
I
made a
would
game.
not be opposed to inviting the guy to when I do. I'm playing in a vampire game. So
Awesome.
when you guys are like, "Oh, those VT," yeah, I LARPed for a while up at UCF, and you're not wrong. Vampire LARPers are weird,
Yeah, they are. They are.
and mostly women, which I liked back when I was single.
Yeah. Well, I mean, doesn't matter what, something just about a woman in a corset. It's like, I don't know. Even gay men are like, yeah, but she's hot.
Yeah, a lot of ladies like vampire. That's just the way it
It was
is.
the big game for girls and people who were, LGB and
Oh
didn't
yeah, big
feel
time.
welcome at the white man game.
So these questions you're talking about, you got those from Jenny D?
I found them online. This one's called the 30-day D&D challenge.
Oh,
And the
okay.
first one is called D&D Tag. It's something Jeannie D did about 4 or 5 years ago.
She's been around 4 years?
She's been
That's
around for a while.
surprising to me.
Yeah.
Oh.
She just only really, become more known since she joined in the I hate anything that isn't 5e crowd, but she's been bopping around since before Critical Role. So
I only become aware of her because Dungeon Professor shouted her out at
uh,
one point.
I tend to avoid the celebrity around the hobby, or really
Right.
celebrity in general. So I only know her through you people talking about her.
Right.
I mean, she'd be perfectly fine, like any other I'm a cute girl, watch me gamer, but she, chose to pick a fight with people who I like and respect for no other reason than she thought it would get her clicks. So
Jenny D is what I call gamer hot, which
yeah,
is if she were at the beach, she would be like a 4 or a 5.
yeah,
But if she's at the con or the comic shop, then she becomes like an 8.
yeah. She's a girl. She games. She's got green hair.
You
She's
know,
hot-ish.
yeah, I don't have any problem with her though. I mean, it's like whatever. But your bro, that whole I was going to tell you about. I call him your bro, and I'm being facetious. I apologize, but the whole if you're running a homebrew game, you're doing a huge disservice to your players.
Yeah, I
And
heard
it's like,
about that. And it was like, oh, he's cycling back to that now. Is this like where he was like, what was it, like a year ago, 2 years ago, when he was
yeah.
all about if you're not playing 5e, you're a danger.
And now it's if you're not playing Forgotten Realms, you're doing a disservice to your players and the game world in general.
Yeah, but he gets. I mean, he gets responses, so he's not going to stop. And I keep telling Bloodworth, just stop responding.
Yeah, I kind of stepped away from it just because, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is legitimately crazy.
No, I think it's like I think he shows. If you look up definition of addiction, every one of those is our boy.
Yeah, because I thought he was a parody account, and then like
I know you did. Yeah.
and now I'm thinking is he? I don't know. Anyway, but I'll let you get on. I'm sorry.
So I don't know, James. Got any questions you want to ask me? This is Ask the OG GM Anything. Thank you to each and every one of you who helped me become 900 subs. Look at him paint. Oh, man.
I am painting up some 3D miniatures I printed out, and they are the dudes from the movie Zardoz.
Ah,
So they got pistols and guns, but they got the
Has he
Zardoz.
got the Sean Connery and the Mankini?
Where is he? Right here, Sean Connery in a mankini with a Webley pistol.
Oh, man.
So
This doesn't do it justice. You got to just do a short on it. I mean, wow.
yeah,
Sean Connery and the
I'll do that.
Mankini. I'll see if I can post a picture of it for somebody who's never seen it.
Well, like we were talking about on my channel earlier, I actually love Zardoz. I think it's an amazing film.
It is.
And a lot of people, I don't think they get what was actually they were trying to do there, but they got too hung up on Sean Connery running around in a red mankini that they kind of got distracted. But
yeah. It
yeah,
is a classic
it is a classic
of just weird sci-fi fantasy post-apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the main dude is trying to genetically breed, and it takes thousands of years a person that's strong enough to destroy the machine so that the immortals can die. It's like the whole thing is really kind of awesome, but
yeah, it's just one of those that you don't hear about enough. The old 70s, early 80s sci-fi fantasies, the golden age.
right.
It's like everybody's like, I love Lord of the Rings, but give me Conan and Hawk the Slayer, right? All right, so that's a good one. What is the best D&D movie? Smashed?
Joke answer, the first one.
Okay.
The really old ones.
All right, the Jeremy Irons with the things coming out of his.
Yeah. Serious answer. I have to do it. The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The first Lord of the Rings.
James, what do you think is the most D&D movie?
I forget the name of it, but it was an actual D&D movie where this like person was a member of a paladin order, but they didn't have any abilities. And then his dad got stolen away to the Shadowfell. So the paladin joined an evil group of adventurers, and they actually ran around doing evil shit. But eventually he saved his father, and then he become the powers of Palor actually.
Oh yeah, I think I know. I saw that one. Yeah.
Right. It was an actual D&D movie, but I can't remember the name of it. It was like filmed in Czechoslovakia or something.
I think it's the third one.
I actually really liked it. I actually really liked
Apple.
the second one too. I thought the second, I mean, okay, it was a little hokey, but like the dungeon where the dude who served Jubilix was and all the traps and stuff, I thought that shit was cool.
Yeah.
They needed a bigger budget, but it was still cool. Yeah, Green Apple's good people. What's up?
Yeah, I mean,
Jenny D is 32. Holy cow, she's aged very well.
Well, you see, she lives here in California. Some of that's probably fake.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I would have guessed she was like 20 or, early 20s. She looks like a baby. But yeah, that's my favorite D&D movie is an actual. I own all three of the D&D films on DVD, and I like that. I like the second one too, even though they're kind of good. What are you up to, barbarian? They like respond to each other by class, but I still like it. I still, I thought it was okay.
See, I got to go a little bit older. I got to go. I think the most D&D movie is probably Lady Hawk.
Oh my goodness. The mouse has left our house. No mouse today. He's gone away. I love it. You know what I should have said? The original Gamers.
Oh yeah, Gamers. Yeah.
Do you remember the original one?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Shadow. The Shadow.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the actual movie they're coming out with. Jeannie D has been doing cosplay since she was 18 or so. God, wow. When did she start bagging on the OSR? And that's when I first became aware of her.
This new D&D movie, if they do it like they did early, like Marvel movies, could be good.
Yeah, they do it like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, if they do it like Guardians of the Galaxy or even like early Iron Man,
Uh-huh.
it could be a thing.
Yeah,
I hope they do.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be as big as some people think it will be, but it'll probably break even. It'll be huge overseas.
Well, like we were talking about, it's like people need to understand that D&D is still very much a niche hobby.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not they want to build it out like every third person you pass on the streets playing D&D, and that's just simply not true. Plus, I learned from watching your videos, apparently Magic the Gathering is not doing great.
Oh God, no. That
I
was
don't know. I went to F&M last week. There were 29 people there. So
Yeah, but I watch OG GM to see what's going on with gaming news. Like every day I watch this thing. And what'd you say? Bank of America is like
Wall Street
downgrading
Journal,
them and
Bank of
stuff?
America, and CNN all ran a story on Monday because apparently over the 3-day weekend, Hasbro stock tanked an unheard of 34%. For somebody like me who only owns 10 shares, that was $12. But for somebody, people who major stockholders, that's a couple 100,000, even to millions. Now add to that the fact that Q3 we lost $60 million from this time last year, and most of it we can blame on Wizards of the Coast. And then 34% loss. They did the research, and these are people who are far smarter than me and actually understand math and algorithms, and basically it comes down to the fact that over the past couple of years, Wizards has glutted the market with multiple runs of cards. They keep changing the rules. The last couple runs, I guess I heard there was like a lot of mistakes and stuff like that, and packs are getting smaller, I guess, and the rules are changing. I don't know, Smash, do you play still? Do you have any insight?
Yeah, no, I play a lot. I would say they're definitely running it horribly, but it still has players. It's still the biggest trading card.
I don't think it was that they were losing players. I think that the eventual is that people aren't spending as much as they were on the cards because they feel there's just
they're printing so many premium products.
I can jump in here real quick with a different thing too. Is I used to be, I guess, about 6 years very competitive playing Magic. Like I'm talking original Theros, right? Mm-hmm. And now I only play Commander, and all the dudes I used to play with, we only play Commander, which means we don't gotta buy cards.
Commander, that's what they were saying, is that it was more and more people were graduating over to Commander because you didn't have to keep up.
Yeah, you throw together your 100 card deck. You can really focus on the cards you actually want to play. And once you're like, I got an elf deck that I sank a lot of money into, right? But it's done. And there will probably never come out an elf that I actually need to put. It's like but when I was playing competitive and Smash, the deal. Like every couple months, something rotates out. You got to buy 3 new boxes to get your cards.
And they did the whole new Black Lotus that isn't legal.
Well, I'm just talking about, I used to play Orzhov.
Yeah.
Competitively, black, white.
Yeah.
And then one set will go out, they'll introduce a new set, and then if like your thought seizes or your whatever, they're no longer in. So now you gotta, and sometimes a rotation will happen and it will just kill the color combo.
Yeah.
At which point you just gotta try to build another deck. And I started playing Magic about 96. It was unlimited, right? And all those bros out there saying I play Commander now, I feel you, because they ran me out of the hobby. It just got where I was just like, I'm tired of it. I'll just play Commander.
Yeah. I'd probably just do a Commander again. I mean, you can't keep up.
Commander
I own mtgedh.net. Throwing out my links there.
Which one is it? Do you own?
mtgedh.net.
Oh, that's you?
Yep. Because the official Commander used to be called EDH, but the website has always been mtgcommander.net. So
it's supposed to be Elder Dragon Highlander.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So I bought mtgedh.net.
Cool. Nice. How much is it worth now? Do you actually do anything with it, or
I posted up just the rules committee is in the pockets of Hasbro. We need to rise up, kind of meme kind of thing on there. It
The
was
local
like $12 a year. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
the local game group that I hang out with, they just ignore the commander council, whatever. Like these dudes will come out and be like, "We're going to cancel this card," and everybody's like, "Yeah, whatever." I mean, you're not in charge of shit around here. And that's the best thing about playing. And I would say to anybody interested in Magic, just play Commander. Just build a
Yeah,
hard card deck. Just have
play,
fun. Don't
just
worry
play for
about the
fun.
bullshit.
You know, find
And plus $1,000 for cards that were basically unplayable proxies.
yes.
What the hell are they thinking, man?
Well, they're unplayable proxies, and there's a good chance that you get something completely unplayable because they are alpha packs. So you could get like your rare could be animate wall.
Yes, exactly. Regeneration. Yeah.
Yeah.
The percentage chances of getting the big blue or whatever were so limited, but I guess that's what they were counting on, is that everybody would think that they would get a Black Lotus and be like, "Oh, this is worth 17,000," and then, of course, no, it's not. It's a proxy. It's worth like 75 cents.
Right. And now we've drug your channel all into MTG. I apologize.
Oh God, no! Is that what it takes for me to get 1,000 subs? Sorry, no, I can't talk about Magic.
I hope you do. You're not far, man. You're not far at all.
James, you said you wouldn't support somebody who sold out.
I never said that. You've been right up front that you were going to sell out as soon as possible from the get-go. I respect that.
Yep, from day one. I'm doing this
from day one. He's like, I want money. Give me some.
I want you to send me free boxes of candy that I can review.
Well, get your bag, bro.
Yeah. But I won't change. I promise when I sell out, I still remember all the little people that helped me get here.
Well, as long as you still make the videos in the morning, tell me what the hell's going on in the gaming sphere, I'll be happy.
All right. Yeah. Well, that won't stop. That's all I got going for me. I mean, I as much as I bag on him, I gotta love all the free press Scott is giving me.
Yeah. What's crazy is DM Bloodworth will make a post on Garby's video, and DM Bloodworth's post will get like 5 times more upvotes than the video.
Yeah. I don't watch his videos anymore. I can't, but I'll read what he posts on yours and on Bloodworth's and on Twitter. So,
and Bloodworth is a good guy.
He's a great guy, but he's sucked in. And
I kind of pulled out of that rabbit hole. Like you said, you just gotta back off a little bit.
Yeah, it's a fight you can't win, dude. No matter what you say, you're never gonna pull him back. I wish. I'm pretty sure you're listening. At a wall. So, just get fucking help, dude. Please, really. As much as I dislike you, please just get therapy, dude.
See, I don't dislike him, but talking to him is like talking to a wall. I've never met anyone so
I tried to be impartial even when he was threatening me, but then when he started going after my mom,
what?
Then that's when I was like, dude, you crossed the line.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah, he found out, I guess I mentioned that my mom was a psychologist, and he did a whole video the very next day about how psychology was horrible and a fake science, and nobody needs psychologists. And I knew that was because he'd seen me mention my mom, and I was like, dude.
I don't know. It depends, because my wife has a psych degree, so maybe he was going after my wife.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, the whole, I'm going to curb stomp the OG GM and all that other shit that he was saying a while back.
That's a little bit American History X kind of thing to say, man. I mean, calm down.
Scott's an unhealthy individual in desperate need of attention. But moving on to more happy topics.
Yay.
We know. All right. Craziest in-game experience, because I got to tell the Roger and the Fireball story. So, DM James, what is your craziest in-game experience?
It's not super braggable. I was running Mech Warrior 2E, and one of the players tried to pick up a barmaid, and he crit failed. So then he, like, on the spot, it's more his thing. On the spot, he improved and he's like, hey, baby, it's called a leg spreader. So then I had the barmaid smack him, and all the players at the table just had the best time. And later, the British pub we hung out with started selling gin and tonics in a pint glass, and they called them leg spreaders.
Because
that's I mean, that's the wackiest thing. I mean, my games are pretty kind of low tier, I honestly.
Smash, what about you?
So I've run a lot of very weird campaigns. Weirdest thing that, as a player, funniest thing that's happened to me is there was a campaign of Call of Cthulhu that I never survived a session, and a single session. Died. Long running campaign, died every single session. Um, as a GM, I ran a 2-year long campaign where the players were going around the Andromeda Galaxy killing the cast of Frasier.
Okay, please elaborate.
So that was in my custom system setting, system with its default setting, which is like a big, massive inhabited galaxy. And they got a spaceship, and they got separated. And I was running 2 sessions a week at one point for half the party, the other half of the party. And one half of the party took a fighter and rematerialized in the middle of a train station, or like a warp capable fighter jet, and rematerialized in the middle of a train station, killing Fraser and Niles as a joke. So then those 2 party members took on their identities and went around killing the rest of them, so no one would know that they took their identities.
Oh God! So that's how Frasier ended.
Yeah.
I don't know, that might top my story. All right. Anybody who has not heard this story, because I say it like once a year, but
I don't think I've heard it.
You've never heard this story? You've never heard the Roger and the Fireball story?
I might have heard it once, but I don't remember.
All right. So this goes back to when I was running the Freeport campaign at Cess Games and Anime. Shout out to Cess Games and Anime. And I was running sort of a bastardized version of Against the Giants. And they'd gotten to the second part, which was the Frost Giants. And I was running the Frost Giants very Shakespearean. It was basically Hamlet. The queen of the Frost Giants was being, haunted by the ghost of her dead husband, and they got involved in this thing, and then everything went sour. So they're trying to escape from the ice giant castle, which is on top of this giant ice mountain, and very, very whatever. They get down to the lower caves, and they're running around the lower caves trying to avoid these giants and these ogres that are chasing them, and they sort of get to this dead end, and they are looking for ways out, and they see a little hole in the side of the wall, and they look through the hole, and there's a dire bear, and it's in her cave because the Frost Giants use dire bears. So they figure out, let's go through this hole to see if we can get out through the dire bear cave out to the land beyond. One of the party members is a gnome, so of course he's the only one small enough to fit through the hole. So the gnome goes through the hole and starts sneaking through the cave. And Pal referring to the $1,000 magic set. Yeah, but I think they failed. I'm sure a few whales bought it, Cal, but I don't know if it's as big as they thought it was going to be. So the gnome is through the dire bear cave, and I roll to see what the dire bear's reaction is. So the dire bear rolls 20. And I'm like, oh. So the dire bear's like, reaches out and grabs the gnome. And then I say, roll. And he rolls a natural 20. So because, gnomes used to have this whole animal thing, I just sort of figure, well, the dire bear's hibernating, probably thinks the gnome is one of its cubs. So scoops the gnome underneath her with its other 2 cubs. At no point in time is the gnome in any trouble. The dire bear's asleep. She's hibernating. She thinks the gnome is just one of its cubs. Add to that, according to the adventure, in the dire bear's treasure was for some reason a rod of passage, which if you're not familiar with a rod of passage, is basically a magic item that makes dimension doors. So he could have gotten out had he just figured that out. But you got to remember, everybody else, here we go. Everybody else looking through the hole just sees the gnome get scooped up underneath this huge, 1,000-pound bear and has no idea that he's not in any danger. So they're like, how do we get him out? Roger, who is playing a magic user named Kentel, I cast Fireball. Okay, wait, what? I cast Fireball. And he was an evoker, which meant he could have the Fireball do max amount of damage if he wanted to. So he's like, I cast Fireball. I'm like, okay. This 10d6 Fireball goes off in this, 10 by 10 cave, filling the entire cave because Fireball has to fill every hex. Tristan, roll a saving throw versus the Fireball. I roll a 1, Mike. All right, Roger, how much damage did you do? 96 points of damage. Tristan, nope, I've only got 32, dude. I'm dead. All right, what are you carrying? This is when Tristan reminds us that his gnome was an alchemist and was carrying on him, amongst other things, 14 vials of alchemist fire, 6 sticks of dynamite, and 1 keg of black powder. Kaboom! This fireball just goes off, fills the 10-foot cave, sets off everything in the room. The black powder goes off, the dynamite goes off, the alchemist fire goes off. I roll the saving throw for the rod of passage. It rolls a 1. It gets destroyed. Retributive strike. The magic of the rod of passage getting destroyed makes the fireball just start this huge cascade. The mine starts burning up, this rolling fire. I'm like, everybody roll. One person rolls a 1, they're like instantly dead. Another person rolls a natural 20, and I'm just like, you get shot out one of the natural shoots, James Bond style, and you come out at the other end of the castle, parachuting down into the snow. One of the NPCs had a dimension door magic item, so I was able to save 2 more of them. But basically, like 2/3 of the party get killed. The entire mountain is just destroyed in this almost nuclear blast. I can only describe it from the point of view of the villagers that are watching this mountain and this castle just suddenly just go up in this giant ball of fire. People are just laughing hysterically. Tristan obviously has just lost his alchemist, but he just thought it was such an amazing moment. He's not upset. Another person's character died, but again, it was just such an amazing moment that nobody was really upset. One of the player characters sacrificed themselves so Roger's character could live, because they were brothers, and we all thought that was an amazing, heroic moment. So we get down, the laughing has started, pretty much bringing things to an end. And I look at him, and I go, Roger, why did you cast Fireball? Because of all the spells you would want to cast, that seems the last. And deadpan, ashen face, totally honest, he looks at me and goes, I thought Fireball was a precision spell. The table just breaks up laughing, and he's like almost in tears. And for like 2 years, he maintained that he thought Fireball was a precision spell. It's like, dude, of any spell in your repertoire, that is the least precision. So, yeah, that is my best story. I can never top that. I mean, just Fireball is a precision spell. So, yeah. Robbie. Ooh, live stream Q&A. Who is your favorite half-orc companion? I don't know. I would say if I'm in a game with a half-orc named Grumbar, he is probably my favorite half-orc companion. If that's the only half-orc I know of that I'm in a game with that has a companion that I play in. Yeah, Grumbar, who hangs out with my halfling thief Oswald, who is still trying to get rid of the last of the 65 of the cloaks of the cult in the Monday game. That's why I can't come on your things on Mondays, James, is because I'm in an online AD&D game that Aaron started. Where are you, Aaron? We missed you. And then
the pedantic?
Yeah. And then this other guy took over, so I've been running the same character now for like 2 years. and Robbie runs Grumbar, who's the half orc, and we've been sort of like the Abbott and Costello. And Aaron was running Hamlet, and there's the Colt and Hamlet, and the Colt had all these cloaks with the Colt symbol on them. My Hobbit takes them, all 65 of them, and then goes to the Hamlet next day and starts selling them for and Aaron's like, you do realize what this is? And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to make money off these guys. So you got all these villagers walking around wearing the cloak with the symbol of the Colt on there. And it just came up again on Monday. We were trying to recruit an NPC for the party, and I'm trying to get the guy to come work for us. And I'm like, all right, 1,000 gold pieces. We're going to give you all the equipment you need, and I will throw in this limited edition black cloak with a flaming eye symbol on the back. Only of out of 65, I only got 4 left.
Yeah, I hope Aaron comes back. I've contacted him a few times. I hear he's back. He's just not active.
Yeah. He was online the other day. He said he'd show up around Thanksgiving, but we miss you, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron's all right.
I don't. I had a grudge back and forth with him.
But they're in the Pedantic? Of all the people,
Yeah.
It's so hard to have a grudge with, though.
I don't know. I thought he was a little too big for his britches, but and he took me saying that a lot more than that really means. And yeah,
Was that on Twitter or something?
Oh, that was over Discord.
Oh, are you
continuously over a couple months there. I was in the Legion of Myth Discord channel.
Okay. Yeah.
Hyping up you, actually. I was hyping up OG GM on there.
Thanks.
And then Aaron joined, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this dude. He thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread." But
were you being serious, or you being like joking?
I was half joking, a little serious.
I never got that vibe from Aaron. He was like one of the coolest, chill dudes I knew. It was like him and Grim. Like those are the two people I want to be if I ever grow up. Just chill and not be affected by the nonsense.
My experience of Aaron is mostly on Twitter, and he was super non-confrontational on Twitter. Like, he really was not the dude that wanted to get into it with anybody. But I've never talked to him on Discord or anything. I just know about when I used to be allowed to be on Twitter. And he was super chill,
Yeah, he was super chill, but maybe there's a side of him I didn't know. I mean, obviously the things with him and Dolly ended badly, so.
I know nothing and don't want to.
Yeah.
I can't have an opinion. I'm on my third wife. So
yeah, I don't want to know anything about either what happened.
Exactly.
Any advice for when your schedule is too busy to carve out time for a weekly or bi-weekly game, online gaming? Because that way you can game with people anywhere across the world who have in different time zones if you're willing to get up. I mean, I'm in Bloodworth's game. I have to get up at, around 8 in my time because he's gaming on Midwest time.
Well, you guys couldn't be any further apart. Bloodworth, I think, is in New York, right? And you're in Cali.
Yeah. So
that's like literally you can't get any further apart.
3 hours apart. Yeah.
And so you and I are too. I'm East Coast.
So yeah, I mean, there's always ways to fill it in, dude. Do a once a month game. We did that for a while here in Site B, where we just got together once a month for a weekend. I know it's hard, dude, because we're all grown up in our real lives now.
I used to hate the idea of online gaming, but I am starting to come around to it.
I did too, but I still don't like it. Mostly because my brain has so much issues trying to figure out all the different technology.
Right.
But hey, we've gone over an hour. Yay! I didn't think this many people would join me. We got 6. That's 5 more than I thought. But face it, you all signed up just because you wanted to see the cat. All right.
Well, to be fair, though, looking at the people in your chat, every one of them's a good dude.
Yep. There's
nobody
on here.
It's quality over quantity sometimes, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Everybody, you are all awesome. And thank you all, seriously. Self-fade, humor aside, thank you very much for being part of this experiment. I never, when I was challenged to do this, I never thought I would get one, much less 100, much less 1,000. I'm still hoping for 1,000, mostly because, I'm trying to make a career out of this because I'm retired and you can't live on that retirement money. But, I never figured, I figured I was too late. There was already so many people doing the exact same things. Like, what could I offer that, if you had a choice between watching me talk about games and Jessica Nagiri talk about games, who are you going to watch? You're going to watch Jessica. Her boobs are bigger than mine.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you don't know who Jessica Nagiri is? Oh, man. No. She's one of the few cosplayers I respect because she has always been honest about it. And even if you don't like what she does, you respect her for she's honest. And she's like, look, I know people are looking at my boobs. I might as well make money off of it. So I never thought, Robert McAllister was my very first subscriber. And now I'm up to 900 and something. Never thought I would make it this much. So thank you. And if you've ever wondered what inspired me to start YouTubing, was besides Matthew Broman telling me I should do it, 3 different YouTubers actually inspired with me to do it, none of whom are gamers. So my first inspiration was Adam the Woo, who does travel, and Justin Scard, who also does travel, and then Sungwon, who does comedy and stuff like that. He's a voice actor, and he was doing these videos about eating ramen. And I was like, dude, I could do a video about eating ramen. So that's really how I started. The only thing I knew how to talk about was gaming. So, there you go. I used to call myself GM Grumpy. Then I switched it to the OG GM. Now I guess I'm the West Coast Grognard because Scott keeps calling me that, which I went and, of course, copyrighted and trademarked. So now every time he uses that name, I can be like, dude, you're violating my copyright.
Just be like, dude, you owe me $5.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you owe me 3 cents.
Every time you say that, you owe me
Every time you say it,
$5.
dude. Every time you say it. I know he says it. Anyways, that's about it. I got nothing else to say. If you have any questions to ask me, please do. If you have never done one of these things, there's tons of them on, and it is a great filler for your channels. It's a great way to get people who maybe don't know a lot about the hobby or a lot about you to find out your things. RPG a day, like this guy said, I've been doing RPG a day for years. That's on Facebook. It's the same idea. Each day there's a question and you do videos about it, or, they're generally D&D related, but you can usually spin them into whatever your topic of choice is. So let's end things with our 3 guests. First, thank you, Smashed.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to post your link to your EDH thing, please do. James, of course, thank you. All right. So that's all I gotta say. If anybody else has anything they want to say, please shout out now. Otherwise, I'm going to bring this to an end. Hopefully, we will reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year. Why do I start every broadcast saying my name, the date, and the time? I'm sure people have asked themselves that because, as far as I know, I'm the only one who does that. As you may or may not know, I hold a 3rd degree radio broadcasting certificate degree in broadcasting, and I used to be a DJ. And the FCC requires anytime a DJ goes on the air to say the date, time, call letters, and their name before they start broadcasting. So that is why I do that. I say my name, the date, the time. I don't have call letters because I'm not on the radio, but my call letters are OG GM. So if you've ever wondered why I say the date, time, and whether, it is just because that is a requirement. If you were at a DJ by the FCC, obviously they don't require it anymore. But I figured it was my one little thing that was different. That and me posting a holiday every day on the polls thing. That way I can also toss a little education out there. All right, and yes, my location, Site B. We've all heard. James has heard the Site B story Because James was like, why are you calling Site B? I was like, because some guy said he didn't believe where I lived. It's like, you can't walk to the store in California. And I was like, you're right. You got me. I don't live in California, dude. I live on an island off the coast of Costa Rica.
Yeah, what'd you say? You lived in Aruba or something?
Yeah, Costa Rica. I live in, what is Della Day, whatever. The island from Jurassic Park is where I live. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to let y'all go because the cats apparently want to get fed. I will see you all tomorrow. Till then, thank you very much. I am the OG GM, your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general nonsense. Stay warm, stay safe, stay dry, and above all, stay off my land.